Ron Wise here with a few tips on making a hardside pannier for your bicycle. First, you start with a decent dry box, good sturdy rack on your bicycle, and when you're done, you should have something that looks like this. A decent dry box can be found at pretty much any good sporting goods store. That's where I recommend you look because they have the widest selection. This one features a storage compartment in the top that's for easy access, but it's not waterproof at that point. But it does have a nice secure latch mechanism, and it does have an option for putting a lock on it to keep the honest people honest. And key to a good dry box is making sure that you have one that's got a good O-ring seal that goes all the way around the lid in one piece. I recommend staying away from ones that have some sort of rubber seal in there. This one has a nice feature, a removable tray. And what do you know, down inside there we've got a tray for holding my shotgun shells, but I don't plan on hunting off my bike, so we'll just get rid of that. Choosing a sturdy bike rack is essential to having the whole thing work. You can't have it flopping around, and so you're going to see here this is a spring-loaded style, which worked out really well with the design of these and made the whole system actually lockable to the bike. Once again, keeps the honest people honest, and it gives you a little bit of feeling of security with the things that you do have stored in your boxes. But definitely, sturdy rack, very important. For the hardware, you've got a lot of choices, but this is what I went with. Corner braces in 2 different sizes. Make sure you have 2 holes in each end of the corner braces for secure mounting to the box. Make sure your nuts that you're going to use on your bolts have the nylon locking feature. You're going to need some fender washers to reinforce the inside of the box. And I preferred to go with the stainless steel hardware just for looks. So the hardware you've chosen for mounting your boxes to your rack are going to have to be bent. They start out looking like this. They're going to end up looking something like this. It's going to depend on your dry box. It's going to depend on the rack that you will need to mount them to. And depending on the positions where they're going to hang, each one may need to be just a little bit different. Now once you've made the set for one side, it's fairly easy to replicate them. They should actually fit right over on the other side of the rack for your second dry box if you're going to make 2. I didn't like the idea of these raw metal brackets sitting right up against my nicely finished bike rack, so I went looking for something that I could coat these with. Paint didn't seem to be an option, but I found this plastic dip product. I bought it in black and coated all of these brackets before mounting them to the box. Mounting those brackets is just a matter of aligning them and putting the holes in and bolting them in place, but make sure you reinforce the inside with the fender washers. I epoxied these in place to give some real strength to the inside there, prevent any enlargement of the holes. And once you've got those brackets done, your spring-loaded rack comes into play. Will hold it in place and makes it really easy to remove and take your gear on the go when you gotta go. One more thing when you're mounting your brackets to the box, it's a good idea to silicone the brackets to the box to ensure the waterproof qualities of your box. You need to make one more set of brackets for each box. Here's the original size corner brace I bought, and here's the size I upgraded to because it had 2 holes in each side of the bracket for more secure mount to the box. They'll end up looking like this once they're bent, and when they're mounted on the box, they'll be in the position that you can see in the box on the right here. And what they're going to do is make your box much more secure to the bike rack. There'll be less rattling around. It'll prevent someone from just coming along and yanking and twisting the box up and walking away with it. So it's really an important part of the assembly if you're going to ever be leaving any of these mounted to your bike. Now, I did manage to still use the trays, even though you'll see here they actually had some slots. You can see the nuts sticking through into the tray just a little bit there. And it makes it a little more secure in there, but you wouldn't want to keep small items in it at that point because they could fall through. And now, making the whole thing lockable to the bike. Here we can see the Master Lock lock mounted through the bike rack and a rear view of the boxes in place. The boxes, once they're done, I did mount a couple of reflectors on them to make myself more visible, and recommend anybody else would do the same. But with some slight modification, aka bending of the bike rack, I was able to get this bike lock through the spring-loaded arm, and you can't lift it at that point once the lock is in place. So this is really awesome, and the lock comes off quite easily. Slip it out here, and there we go. And now once you lift the spring-loaded arm, the boxes are ready for you to take and go wherever you got to go. Pretty slick. Have a safe ride.